Hi Sagittarius, welcome to your mid-March 2019 horoscope and astrology tarot reading. So Sagittarius, the sun is entering Aries and that will feel so much more comfortable for you than Pisces season. Now, the reason for this is because Aries is a fellow fire sign, but this is injecting new creative energy into you. And it is bringing you out of hibernation. It's bringing you out of your shell. It's bringing you out of your comfort zone that you've possibly encased yourself in during Pisces season. This Pisces season in particular was quite heavy due to Mercury being retrograde in that sign. As you know, this could have drudged up some family issues, some deep-seated pain within the family. When the sun shifts into Aries, you will feel a lot more playful. Your relationships, in particular with children and the family dynamic, will improve. Fertility will improve, if that's an issue for some of you. Now, Mercury will go direct on the 28th. So you'll feel the greatest shift in energy once it's gone direct. And particularly as it moves into Aries the following month, you're going to feel a real switch up of how you speak to others, how you communicate, and how understood you actually are. Sometimes, Sagittarius, during this retrograde season, we can oftentimes say what we don't mean, and we can act in a way that we later regret. So, Sagittarius, if the climate recently has felt very heavy, very foggy, very confusing for you, particularly with the aspects between the sun, the new moon, and Neptune, you're going to have a lot more clarity. Now, what I don't want you to forget, Sagittarius, is that Jupiter is in your sign all year. It's currently 23 degrees in your sign. It's going to go retrograde soon. In the meantime, before it does, because you may feel the retrograde in different ways, before it does, make sure that you have a clear agenda of what it is that you want for yourself. Particularly if it comes to creative endeavors and romance. Have a clear picture of what you want to achieve in those areas. The fifth house energy can make you very carefree. It can make you not want to work. It can make you want to play. Sometimes that can make you overly optimistic and dive out of your responsibilities. However, you will not want to do that if you're working in a team or if there is some degree of group dynamics going in around the 20th. On the 20th of March, we have the supermoon, full moon in Libra within the first degree, meaning that teamwork, friendship, group dynamics, technology are all enhanced. They're illuminated. You want to make sure that there is equality in communication within group settings. Because Mercury is retrograde, you might not be saying what you need to say. You might not be speaking up for yourself. You want to do that during Mercury retrograde in the most clear way possible so it cannot be misconstrued. You know, have everything in writing. If you're dealing with a group dynamic or maybe one or more persons within the group are quite challenging, a lot may come to a head within this full moon. Now, you get a second shot at this full moon, so don't feel like everything rides on it. The beautiful thing about this Libra full moon is that it reoccurs in April in different forms but in the same sign. Mercury will no longer be retrograde and you will have a shot at saying your piece again, okay? So things might not be wrapped up completely with this full moon in terms of friendships. You need to be very, very certain of who is supporting you. Sometimes with full moons, it can illuminate who's not supporting you. For example, we may see some friendships, you know, that sort of come across as being okay, and then when the challenges are setting in, they're not really there. Those type of relationships will be illuminated. You will also discover who are your greatest support systems over this full moon. So do bear that in mind. It can be very illuminating. People in your everyday life, people that you're going back a bit with, you'll see support systems in various forms, okay? Especially if you've been dealing with the confusion of the Pisces season, because I think for a lot of Sagittarius people it has been very, very confusing, okay? So on the 20th as well, we do have Mars trining Pluto in your 6th and 2nd house, which favors a practical approach to whatever problems you're going through, but also being assertive and direct. So being a sharpshooter is what I've written down. I think this is a lot to do with your group dynamics. I think it's very important that you present yourself as you mean to be, okay? Mercury retrograde in the 4th, you might want to shy away from things a little bit. Bear in mind, decisions often taken during Mercury retrograde don't always stick. Okay, so if you're worried about the longevity of something, it's not the best time to put a formal announcement in. Okay. We also, on the 21st, just to make you aware, Venus is trining. No, it's not trining. Venus is aspecting your ruler Jupiter in your sign. So this full moon may also illuminate some sort of romantic conversation or some sort of clarity in romance, Sagittarius. Yes, it is romantic, actually. Page of Cups, a romantic message, I think, is coming around the full moon as being significant. Yes, it is a romantic message. It's a message coming out of the fog. See this? This is fog, cloudy energy, Piscean energy. We have the Page of Cups here. Romance is coming out of this. So I get the impression that Pisces season has been a lot to do with people keeping their feelings to themselves instead of being entirely clear with you. Maybe you've been keeping your feelings to yourself, but there's a relationship where things have been a little bit one-sided. It's kind of as though one person's talking and one person's not. And it's because both of you, possibly, or at least one of you, is uncertain. Okay. 5 of Swords, Queen of Cups, and Judgment. So Sagittarius, a day of reckoning is coming in a substantial or significant relationship. If you're getting involved with somebody new in March, bear in mind they may not present entirely as they are. That could be a good or a bad thing. Can be either or. It just means that with the energy of Pisces, I mean, there's storms everywhere with this Piscean season. The sea is going crazy. Everything is just up in the air, and it's hard to know where you're going. You know how hard it is to drive through a rainstorm. You can't see clearly. Even the roads that you've gone down 100 times look different. And you have to trust yourself that you know what you're doing. And if you suspect that someone is lying about something, they probably are. Because your intuition is picking it up. Somebody is going to be found out. This Libra supermoon is going to illuminate somebody who has shortchanged you, Sagittarius. Somebody who has made you feel very, very anxious, very, very trapped. Could be a water sign for many people, could be a Scorpio. Although, yeah, it could be another fire sign. It could be a Leo, an Aries, or a fellow Sagittarius that has left you. And you feel like they're okay, but you're not. Or vice versa. Somebody is playing by their own rules and not yours. So, where do we go with that? Well, the truth is going to reveal itself, particularly going into Aries season. Going into Aries season, you're going to realize that what you have lost, or what you perceive to have lost, was not the offer that you needed. What you actually needed was this 2 of Cups coming from something better, actually possibly from another fire sign, for adventure. Now, one thing that I'm sort of seeing here, Sagittarius, is that some of you will regret losing out on somebody that you maybe took for granted. That's one way of seeing it, Sagittarius, because I can see this as being you following your old rules and thinking you've all the cards, and then them going off and discovering a new lease of life and you regretting it. For others of you, you've been shortchanged by somebody and you're about to call them out. You're getting this great surge of strength that makes you feel like you can converse with that person, like you can tell them this isn't right, particularly if you're dealing with a female in your life who is a water sign and in a group dynamic. Because in a group dynamic, there's too much competition for it to work as a group. And the Libra supermoon is going to illuminate that. It's going to illuminate who's taking all the swords, who is only out for themselves when it's supposed to be a team player dynamic. That's going to come out. I would hedge my bets and say it may be a water sign. But I also feel like there's some degree of temptation that if you cross while you're in a committed relationship, you may have regrets. Okay? If you're dealing with a water sign in general that you have shortchanged, you may have a very rude awakening when you find out that they've taken it as something to move on from with great force. This is an interesting reading because it goes two ways, Sagittarius. Some of you are feeling very remorseful and regretful for being the shortchanger, and some of you have been shortchanged, and you're actually getting from this a new spirit. As soon as you turn around and you see what there is to offer out there, you become the emperor. You start setting higher standards. You start setting higher boundaries. You start respecting yourself to a level that the Knight of Wands can't really come up to, you know? They want to have all the fun on their terms. That's kind of what this combo is saying to me. And it can be you or it can be them. You can't have it all on your terms. There has to be, if there's a relationship dynamic, which I suspect there is, with somebody who's very impressionable, someone who's very sincere, if there is a relationship dynamic where one person has been shortchanged, it's going to come out, and it's going to come out big. And if you're the one doing the shortchanging, you're not going to like what you find. And if you're the one who's been shortchanged, you're getting a sun moment. Because the truth is setting you free. It's quite similar to Pisces energy in that sense. The truth is what's setting you free. But instead of the death card that they have, you've got the sun. The sun in Aries, 20th of March. You will feel very, very, very different going into March, Aries season, without Uranus causing this unpredictable chop and changing in your romantic life. If you've been dating people that aren't working for you, they've not been allowed to last very long. And it's been sudden, because if Uranus gets whiff that you're trapped in something, if it got whiff that you were stuck or being subdued, you'll be breaking free because of it. That's what judgment is. You're being woken up to somebody who was holding you hostage with their lies and deceit. You know, like a spider trapping a fly in its web. For a lot of Sagittarians, that can happen in Pisces season because you're so confused by the emotional fog. It's not like for water signs where they can navigate this because it's their terrain. It's their natural habitat. Even they have found Mercury retrograde in Pisces incredibly difficult to navigate the emotions. Most of the messages I've received have come from water signs saying they can't cope with the amount of emotions that are bubbling up. For you, Sagittarius, it will have a similar effect, particularly if you have a lot of Scorpio in your chart. And the reason for this is because it's hitting you in the 4th house, which is the Cancer house. You know, that's where the emotions in the home and the security lie. Someone challenged your security and they didn't have your best interest at heart, and now you're having a wake-up moment. It's very intense, actually. Judgment is never low-key. You can't not hear that trumpet. Even the dead hear that trumpet. It's loud. But it's full of promise of adventure. Some of you may be relocating. I always think the Sun and the Knight of Wands is the Australia combination. So some of you might live in Australia. It's very much to do with, you know, going to red soil. So some people might be looking for a new adventure on red soil. But with that, if it's not your home, with that may come some kind of homesickness, fear, you know, looking at what's not going right rather than the love that's offered. It's kind of as though some of you have turned your back on love because you feel like there's something bigger out there, which is your path to take. But if you feel regretful, and you've not been honest, I do sense that those of you that are in the 7 of Swords bracket are going to feel the judgment energy the hardest. And that is because this Libra full moon is the final supermoon, and it's ready to illuminate what didn't come out in the first 2. Okay? So we think about the last 2 supermoons hitting you in your travel sector. It would make a lot of sense if some of you just wanted to up and leave. Your career sector, some of you want to break free and be your own boss. And I can see that for a lot of you, there's not that much time for romance in your head because it's your Jupiter cycle and you want to make the most of it. You want to be free. But just bear in mind, if you do make an off-the-cuff decision on Mercury retrograde, you might not feel like that next month. Things may change. So if you can hold off decisions until then, Sagittarius, you'll be less riddled with regret, depending on what it is. Of course, you're always responsible for your own decisions. I'm just advising you that sometimes with Mercury, you have to be wary of it, that you're not acting out of a place that's not authentic. Anya, take a leap of faith. Anya, take a risk and put your heart's true desire into action. So that's saying the opposite. That's saying go for a risk. But I'm saying that that's at the very, very end of March. That's not during Mercury retrograde. That's as we're going into Aries season. You can get the ball rolling, but don't do something drastic until we're in Aries season. Yes, Sekhmet, be strong. You're stronger than you think you are, and your strength assures a happy outcome. Okay. Let's see what else we have. Yes. Sensitivity and the High Priestess. So, okay, this makes sense. You're very, very sensitive to the world around you, and you're picking up into very strong intuitions on people. Your gut is giving you really, really, really strong feelings. Listen to them. You don't necessarily have to act, but it wants you to listen. Dana, High Priestess, is very Piscean energy. It's all about listening and observing, meditating, and realizing that these emotions don't just come up for no reason. They come up for a reason to make you aware of something. Only when you've tapped into the emotions and the intuition and the feeling and you have a degree of certainty after the full moon should you be taking a leap. But when it comes to this group dynamic, that is when you have to stick up for yourself. That is when you have to speak, okay? That is when you have to be forthcoming with where you stand. Everything else is going to fall into place organically. A lot's going to come out when the sun goes into Aries, full moon in Libra. It's going to be very illuminating, Sagittarius, but you're ready for it. In fact, it's going to be something with judgment. What is revealed is always there to set you free. And with Uranus traveling into Taurus after wreaking this havoc every Aries season in your romantic life and making you unpredictable and making you crave independence, it'll be an interesting thing to see. So I love you guys. I'll see you in the next set of readings. Bye.